Hi guys, and welcome back to the game room again. This time another version comparison. It's Nigel Mansell's World Championship on the Amiga A1200 AGA version up against the Super Nintendo version. And as you can see at the moment, we're going through the loading screens. Now I've cut all these down and edited these down because I appreciate you don't want to sit there watching loading screens for, you know, a really long time. So the Amiga, it comes on 2 discs. You do get asked partway through to swap discs over. And you can see it's going through and just doing the first part of the loading sequence. And then it's made by Gremlin, which is a company that I quite liked back in the 90s. They made some really awesome games. And this is an intro sequence that you don't get on the Super Nintendo version, actually. Sounds like Nigel Mansell's Renault engine from his Williams Renault back then revving up. And here it is, the title screen. So you listen to the music in the background, which is pretty cool. And here's the main menu. So you've got 5 options on the screen, as you can see. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a race single circuit, do a qualifying lap so you can see what it looks like on qualifying, and then do a race. And then we're going to have the Super Nintendo version and the Amiga version side by side. So I don't really want to race in the wet or qualify in the wet. I'd rather do it in the dry. So rather than actually going ahead and accepting this, I'm going to come back out, go back in again. Still wet, so we'll come out and go back in again. Okay, so that looks more promising. It's dry. We'll hit qualifying. So it asks for disc 2. You put disc 2 in, and then again it takes sort of a little while to load again. Onto the Super Nintendo version now. You can hear the background tune, and you've got a couple more options, interestingly, or an additional option. So you can put your name in. Interesting. And I'm going to do the same, select the British track at Silverstone on the Super Nintendo version this time. And again, it's raining, so I've come back out. I don't want that. Back in again. This time it's dry. We'll go for it. So this time you go to the tune-up screen and you get the option to go into qualifying, or go to the race, or make changes to the car settings. So we'll go straight into qualifying. And here is the Super Nintendo version of the game, guys. Now, as I said on my good and bad Formula 1 games, I absolutely love the Super Nintendo version of Nigel Mansell's World Championship. It's absolutely awesome. So, as you can see, things are running nice and quickly. This is being captured at 50 frames per second at 50 Hz because it's a PAL game running on a PAL Super Nintendo. And it's really running nice, smoothly, quickly. I remember I had a friend who lived down the road from me back in the day who had this on the Super NES, and I absolutely loved going around his house and playing on this. It was awesome. So what's going to happen is we're going to cut to halfway through the lap, and then you're going to see the Amiga version, so you can see the comparison. So here's the Amiga version. Graphically it looks a little bit different, and then the first thing you're going to notice when I pull away here is how choppy the frame rate is. Yeah, it's very, very choppy. And I remember watching Bad Influence, a TV programme all about video games for kids back in the day when I was a youngster. And Andy Crane, one of the presenters, actually said that this version was specifically made for the Amiga 1200 with the AGA chipset. And it looks like, unfortunately, Gremlin didn't manage to do a particularly good job, because whilst graphically it doesn't look too bad, the frame rate is absolutely awful, and it does affect the way the game plays. Switch back to the SNES for the second half of the lap. And just look how fast it is and how smooth it is. It looks really, really awesome. And it's so much fun to play. And it's so much, well, more predictable. And I'd probably say a little bit easier to play because of the frame rate. So you're going to see the end of the lap here on the Super Nintendo. Going through the last sort of section of corners at the Silverstone track. I get one of these. Yeah, I get that one completely wrong. This game can be quite tricky, definitely. It's fun as well, though, to go with it. It's tricky, but it's fun. So, going through the last couple of corners at Silverstone on the old Silverstone track. And I'm going to cross the line. And there you go. That's that qualifying lap done. So we're back over to the Amiga again. Straight away, if you look at the trackside objects and everything, you can see how choppy it is, how sluggish it looks in comparison. It's strange. Why is the Amiga version, especially when the 1200 is more powerful than the Super Nintendo, why is the Amiga version of this game so choppy and so, yeah, just not as smooth and not as fun to play either? And if you get yourself on the outside of a corner, you may as well forget it, as you're going to find out when I do the race, because it is really, really difficult to slow the car down and get it back in place. Oh, it's just so frustrating, the Amiga version of this game. I remember playing the PC CD-ROM version of this game, and it's similar to this, and equally as frustrating, and didn't play it for too long, let's put it that way. So, yeah, I exited qualifying, I didn't finish it. And here is the starting lineup, the grid positions for my Super Nintendo British Grand Prix. And then you're back to the screen where you can set the car up or go into the race. So, this is where it's going to split off, and you're going to see Super Nintendo on the left-hand side, Amiga A1200 on the right-hand side. I've tried to time the start of both bits of footage so that they go off the line at the same sort of time, so you can really get a sense of how different they both are. And as you can see straight away, look at the Super Nintendo version, how quick and how smooth it is. I'm crashing into other cars, but that doesn't matter. Look at the Amiga version, look how choppy and how sluggish it is in comparison. It's really bad, and here's where I'm talking about getting stuck on the outside of the track and struggling to steer back in. If you do that, oh, it's so frustrating and annoying, it really is. And on the Amiga, of course, it only uses one fire button for this game, which is for accelerate. If you need to brake, you need to hold down accelerate and press down on the controller, or pull down on the joystick if you've got one of those. And that could be quite strange if you're used to playing racing games with a few buttons, where you've got accelerate and brake, for example. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame as well with the controls. But oh my god, it's just, forget the controls. It's not the controls that are the problem here, it's the sluggish way the game plays. Looking back again at the Super Nintendo version on the left hand side of the screen, it's smooth, it's fast, it's a joy to play, it's so much fun. Why? Why is there such a difference between these two versions? If anything, I would have expected the Amiga version maybe to look a bit better and still run as smoothly and as quickly. So this is another example of where a game that's been moved across the Amiga and an apparent special version is made actually isn't as good as the Super Nintendo version, as was the case with Top Gear 2 in the last episode that I showed of Super Nintendo and Amiga ports of games. So you can see I'm on the second lap on the Super Nintendo. I'm on the second lap of the Amiga. You notice there's only 3 laps on the Amiga race and there's 6 on the Super Nintendo, but we're not going to go through and see it all. And you'll also notice that the Amiga version, it started raining, which will of course affect the handling if you're on dry tyres, like I am at the moment. Guys, I hope again this has been a good video for you to watch, a good comparison of a couple of different versions of Nigel Mansell's World Championship, a really cool racing game from Gremlin Interactive from back in the day. Hope you like this video, like and subscribe, leave comments, I really want to know what you guys think about this game, about my videos. Thanks for watching, catch you again soon.